First off, the President called me yesterday. We had a very good conversation on a wide range of subjects, ranging from situation in Ukraine, Venezuela, Arctic security. We discussed as well what Canada is doing positively, and this is the context of our discussion, what Canada is doing positively to build new partnerships around the world. I explained to him our arrangement with China. I explained to him what we're doing, 12 new deals on 4 continents in 6 months. He was impressed. And what we intend to do going forward, as well as the opportunity to, of course, move forward on CUSMA. You will note that Minister LeBlanc had discussions with one of his counterparts in the last 36 hours about some of the modalities and things on the way forward. But to be absolutely clear, and I said this to the President, I meant what I said in Davos. It was clear it was a broader set of issues, that Canada was the first country to understand the change in U.S. trade policy that he had initiated, and we're responding to that. We're responding positively by building partnerships abroad, we're responding positively by building at home, and we're prepared to respond positively by building that new relationship through CUSMA. He understood that, and it was a good conversation, as I said.
Donald Trump is issuing a stark warning to Canada. Don't move closer to China. As Ottawa courts Beijing, Trump threatens a crushing response: 100% tariffs. The message is blunt: pick a side, Washington or Beijing. Trump is targeting Canada's China trade push, turning tariffs into weapons and trade into a battlefield. Trump accused Canada of trying to turn itself into what he called a drop-off port for Chinese goods entering the U.S. market, warning that such a move would be met with immediate punishment. He claimed China would, quote, eat Canada alive, destroying its businesses, social fabric, and way of life if closer ties were pursued. The warning follows an earlier attack by Trump, accusing Canada of opposing his proposed Golden Dome missile defense system over Greenland, a project Trump claims would also protect Canadian territory. Trump criticized Ottawa for resisting the defense plan, while at the same time choosing to expand economic engagement with China. Trump's remarks came shortly after Prime Minister Mark Carney's visit to Beijing, where he sought to revive trade ties with China, Canada's second-largest trading partner after the United States. During the visit, Canada and China agreed to reduce tariffs on select Canadian agricultural exports and introduce quotas on Chinese electric vehicles entering the Canadian market. The understanding could also open the door to increased Chinese investment in Canada. Carney's visit marked the first visit by a Canadian leader to China in nearly a decade, with discussions framed by both sides as part of a changing global economic order. Chinese President Xi Jinping welcomed what he described as a turnaround in bilateral relations. Speaking earlier about the deal, Carney appeared to reference tensions with Washington, calling Canada's recent engagement with China more predictable and describing talks with Beijing as realistic and respectful. Carney had also sharply criticized the United States and Western allies during his address at the World Economic Forum in Davos.
It seems that every day we're reminded that we live in an era of great power rivalry, that the rules-based order is fading, that the strong can do what they can and the weak must suffer what they must. And this aphorism of Thucydides is presented as inevitable, as the natural logic of international relations reasserting itself. And faced with this logic, there is a strong tendency for countries to go along to get along, to accommodate, to avoid trouble, to hope that compliance will buy safety. Well, it won't. Let me be direct. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. Over the past 2 decades, a series of crises in finance, health, energy, and geopolitics have laid bare the risks of extreme global integration. But more recently, Great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited. On Arctic sovereignty, we stand firmly with Greenland and Denmark and fully support their unique right to determine Greenland's future. Our commitment to NATO's Article 5 is unwavering. So we're working with our NATO allies, including the Nordic-Baltic Gate, to further secure the alliance's northern and western flanks, including through Canada's unprecedented investments in over-the-horizon radar, in submarines, in aircraft, and boots on the ground, boots on the ice. Canada strongly opposes tariffs over Greenland and calls for focused talks to achieve our shared objectives of security and prosperity in the Arctic. Argue the middle powers must act together because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. But I'd also say that great powers can afford for now to go it alone. They have the market size, the military capacity, and the leverage to dictate terms. Middle powers do not. But when we only negotiate bilaterally with a hegemon, we negotiate from weakness. We accept what's offered. We compete with each other to be the most accommodating. This is not sovereignty. It's the performance of sovereignty while accepting subordination.
What makes Canada a great country? It's a great country for everyone. It's the greatest country in the world to be a regular person. You don't have to be born rich or to a landed family here. You don't have to be a certain color or worship a certain God. Canadians believe in the value of every other Canadian. Their boundless potential to make this great country even better. Now, Canada can't solve all the world's problems, but we can show that another way is possible, that the arc of history isn't destined to be warped towards authoritarianism and exclusion. It can still bend towards progress and justice. We choose to build a bright future worthy of the ground on which we stand. We choose Canada. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
The latest warning underscores growing friction between Washington and Ottawa as Canada weighs its economic future between its closest ally and its largest global competitor.